I'd like you to imagine that there's an issue with a firewall, and the company is looking for somebody who can help identify what's wrong and potentially fix it. And what if that person was you or me? Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, one of the first steps in really getting good with anything, including an adaptive security appliance, is to understand the basic concepts of how it works and the basic configuration to get up and running. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to focus on this little guy right here, the adaptive security appliance, and I've got a nugget that I'd like you to watch. And together, as we watch it, it's going to address the basic concepts of how the ASA thinks and why it does what it does, and how to implement a basic configuration on it. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to watch the video called ASA Firewall, and that's from the 640-554 course. It is video number 11. Take notes as you go through it, because what I've discovered is that even if I never go back and look at the notes that I created, just the benefit of writing those notes assists me in learning it and interpreting the information that much quicker. And I want you to have that same benefit as well. And then when we're done, we'll come right back here to 210, 260. And when we come back, I'll walk you through an example of how you and I can integrate an adaptive security appliance as part of a GNS3 environment. That way you'll have a home lab that you can practice on. And then after we have the topology set up in GNS3, we'll do an additional nugget where we'll walk through together the configuration on that ASA inside of GNS3. And also in that nugget, we'll do an assessment as well, just to make sure that we are getting the information that we need to and want to out of these videos. So just to make sure there's no mistake and make it really easy to get there, we're going to do a search. So I'm logged into the CBT Nuggets website. And if you're on a mobile device, it'd be very similar to do a search function. And we're going to search for 640-554. We'll select it from the list. We'll give it a moment to come up. And then when we scroll down, we're looking for video number 11, the ASA Firewall. We'll click on that, watch that one single nugget, and then we'll get right back to 210, 260 to take a look at integrating the ASA into our own GNS3 lab environment. So in this nugget, we've been assigned a single video as homework. We're going to watch it, take notes, and when we're done, I'll see you right back here in 210, 260. Meanwhile, I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing. You know, there's lots of options out there that we have when working with an adaptive security appliance. Now, Cisco sells virtualized ASAs. They sell physical ASAs in a variety of shapes and sizes. We have an ASA, I believe, in Viral, that product that supports it. We also have the ASA that we can use inside of GNS3. So here are the basic steps. We're going to install the latest version of GNS3. I'm going to be installing it on a Windows 8.1 computer. We need to have the images for the ASA. We need to create a hard drive, a logical hard drive in GNS3 that the ASA can use, and then we'll set up the ASA. So to start off, I've got GNS3 installed. And if you're looking at the color scheme here and thinking, whoa, Keith, whoa, that looks like an older version of GNS3, it's just because I went to Edit and Preferences, and under Style, I said I want the legacy view as opposed to the charcoal or the classic. So that's why it looks like that. The second thing I want to do is show you the version. So if we go to Help and About, this is currently version 1.3.11. It's very likely to be very similar if you're using 1. Something newer or 1. Something older. The actual GNS3 is not changing all that much. So we'll click on OK there. Now, one of the first things we're going to do after we've installed GNS3 is we're going to create a logical hard drive that the ASA can use. And to do that, we're going to go to the dark place, a command prompt. So I'm going to bring up a command prompt, and I'm going to right-click on the command prompt and say I want to run as administrator because I want administrative rights. Here's my user account control saying, are you sure you want to do this? I'm going to say yes, and now I'm in a command prompt. And from here, I'm going to do a cd /. I'm going to do a cd space pro and hit tab. It's going to take me to the program files folder. I'm going to do another cd for GNS3, tab it out, and that takes us to the GNS3 subfolder. And then I'm going to do a dir q asterisk, and that's going to show us a listing of everything that starts with Q. So I've got this folder right here called kimu-0.11.0. I'm going to go into that folder, and in that folder, that's where we're going to create this logical hard drive that the ASA can use. So to change to that folder, we're going to type in cd space QEMU dash and hit tab. It completes that for us. We'll press enter. Looking at the prompt, we're in that folder. And just to confirm that there is not a file called flash in this folder, I'm going to do a dir and then a capital F asterisk, which is simply I'm not swearing, really, which is just going to show us anything that starts with a capital F, and there's nothing in that folder with a capital F. So to create the drive, I'm going to use the command QEMU-IMG. If you hit tab, it'll put the .exe on there for you. You can choose to leave off that .exe. It'll run with it or without the .exe extension included. We're going to use the keyword create, space, and then I'm going to create the file called FLASH, space, and then I'm going to specify how big I want it to be, and that's 512 M, just like that. So there's the syntax. I'll leave that up just for a moment. So we're going to create this virtual flash drive in the computer, and then later we'll tell the ASA to go ahead and use that flash drive for itself. So we'll press enter. We've got this nice little happy message saying that the new flash drive has now been created. So that's super duper. We can go ahead and close that command prompt. Next, we're going to address the image files for the ASA. Now, Cisco licenses and distributes their own ASA image software, which is great. Now, to use it in GNS3, we need to break it up and carve it up into pieces. It's kind of a tedious process, and I've discovered there's lots of people who have already done that carving up for us. So if we bring up a browser, and I did some searches, and here's one of the things I found. At this URL, there's the ASA 9-iOS 15-GNS3 plus revd.zip. And although there's a lot of options of things to click on here, what we want to do is simply download that file. So I'm going to click on this green download icon, and there may be a CAPTCHA or something else that's verifying that you're really a human and not a computer. And that download has now started, and it's downloading to my computer. Now, in the case of downloading and working with any files that you get, you would absolutely want to make sure that you have virus protection and the proper controls in place to protect the integrity of your system. So now that that's downloaded, I'm going to go ahead and close that browser. And any pop-ups it brought behind the scenes for me. Then I'm going to go to my downloads folder and extract that zip file. So if we open up Explorer, File Explorer, and we go to downloads, here we have the downloaded files. Once was when I tried it to verify that it would work, and the other time is the download that we just did just now. So I'm going to right-click on this .zip and select Extract All. I'll do a confirm, and now I've got those two ASA image files I need, plus there's a couple of iOS images there as well. So those are now in a subfolder of my downloads, and I can move them to somewhere else on the file system if I wanted to, but for now, I'm going to leave them right there. I'm going to go ahead and close that Explorer window, or at least minimize it. And back in GNS3, we'll click on Edit and go to Preferences, and then under QEMU and QEMU VMs, currently we don't have any QEMU VM templates. We'll click on New. This is where we're going to add the ASA into GNS3, so we'll click on New. The type of VM we're going to bring in, from the drop-down, we're going to select ASA 8.42. So even though the image we're going to bring in is version 9, we're going to select the ASA option here from the drop-down, which is for 8.4x, but that's okay. We'll click on Next. We can name it. I'm going to leave it as ASA. We'll click on Next. It's asking how much RAM to give it. It's asking where the QEMU library is. I'm going to go ahead and leave that default of QEMU.exe in that QEMU.0.11.0 folder and click on Next. Next, it's asking for these two files related to the ASA image. So for the initrd file, we'll click on Browse. We'll go to our Downloads folder, and then under that we have the ASA 9 iOS 15 GNS3 revd folder. We'll expand that, and then here's our initrd file, 915-21. We'll select it and click on Open. It says, do you want to copy this to the default images directory? I'm going to say, nah, I'll leave it where it is. Now, you certainly could copy that and move it wherever you want to, but for this demo, I'm going to leave it right where it is. And then we'll click on Yes to continue. Next, it's asking us for the kernel image, so we'll click on Browse for that. We'll go back to our Downloads folder. We'll go back to that subfolder. We'll click on the file that has the VMLINUZ in it, because that's what it's looking for, and we'll click Open. It asks me if I want to copy those. I'm going to say no thanks, and we'll click on Finish. We want to tell this ASA image that it should use the hard drive. So let's go back. We'll click the ASA. We'll click on Edit. Up here we have a HDD tab for hard drive or hard disk drive. We'll click on Browse for the disk image. And here we're going to go under Program Files and then GNS3. And then we have the QEMU 0.11.0. We'll go into that folder. And there should be a file called Flash that we created earlier in this nugget. And there it is. So with Flash selected, we'll go ahead and click on Open. It's asking us, do you want to copy this to the default images directory? Which, if we wanted to, you certainly could. In this case, I'm going to say no. And then under Advanced Settings, I'm going to go ahead and not allow the CPU throttling. I've got some pretty good horsepower on this system, so I'm not too worried about that. It's on by default, so ASA doesn't consume your whole box, but in my experience, it hasn't consumed the whole box, even with that option deselected. So that may be something you could test with and play with if you're tweaking and tuning your system. And we'll click on OK. So by default, this ASA is going to have 4 network adapters. They're going to be gigabit 0, 1, 2, and 3. Even though in the interface of GNS3, it shows up as E0, E1, E2, and E3 instead of gigabit 0, 1, 2, and 3. That's no problem. That's just a labeling issue. And we'll click on OK. And now if we want to bring an ASA out to our topology, we just go ahead and click here to see all of our options. Here's ASA, and we'll drag it out. And there's the ASA. So if we want to start the ASA, we'll right-click, click on Start. If we want to open a console to this ASA, we can right-click, select Console. Now regarding the console, you can tweak that. You can use PuTTY or you can use Secure CRT, whatever you're most comfortable for or whatever you have a license for is perfectly fine. So we'll click on Console. I just want to verify that the ASA is indeed booting up. Doesn't look like it's booting up, Keith. Let's do this. I'm going to bounce it real quick. So I'm going to take this ASA for a moment. I'm going to stop it, right-click, stop, and then right-click and start, and then go back to the console. And there it goes. So it is booting up. So I just caught it at a moment where it was still processing. If we'd waited long enough, it was very likely it would have continued loading. I just didn't want to wait like 30 seconds in the event it was just sitting there stuck. I've also noticed that when working with the ASA in GNS3, that sometimes if I stop a project and then I restart the project, sometimes the ASAs don't cooperate. They don't come back. So if that does happen to you, if you have a project, you've saved it, you could just go ahead and close the whole project, reopen GNS3, reopen that project, and my experience has been that the ASAs come right back. If you're brand new to GNS3, I would also encourage you to take a quick peek at the GNS3 1.x Fundamentals course right here at CPT Nuggets, and that can assist you in getting up to speed faster with GNS3 in general. So now it's asking if I want to use the interactive prompts. I'm going to say no, and poof, we're now at the command line for the Cisco ASA. Quite often we have an assessment check about this point, but in this nugget, really we just walk through the steps to get an ASA integrated as part of GNS3. So we need to have GNS3 installed, get the image, create the hard drive, and then set up the ASA, meaning point to that hard drive, tell it to use it, and then make sure that it boots up inside of that GNS3 environment. We'll have separate nuggets on the additional bells and whistles. For example, configuring the basics of an ASA, adding ASDM support to the ASA so you can have all that full functionality in practice inside a lab environment if you want. But we're going to break those down into separate nuggets. And that way, when you're looking for a specific part like ASDM support or something to that effect, you can go to that exact nugget for that content. For individuals and companies that have a physical adaptive security appliance, one of the cool things that Cisco did is they put all the features, for example, failover and VPN and cryptography support. All those features exist in the software for the ASA, and it's up to the activation key to unlock those features. So in the event that you have an ASA and at some future point you want to upgrade the features or licenses, instead of having to replace the software, you can just purchase a license key with the additional features that you want from Cisco and then apply it. Now, one of the interesting things about these licenses and activation keys which enable them is they are bound or tied to the serial number. So if there were, for example, 2 or 3 people that had a virtual firewall in a lab environment and they had exactly the same serial number, it's extremely likely that the same activation key would unlock those same features on that same firewall. So in this nugget, in the event that you ever need to apply or want to apply an activation key, I wanted to walk you through the steps of exactly how to do that on an ASA. Now, as a demonstration, I'm just going to bring out a brand new ASA. You could apply this technique to the ASA that we put together previously as part of this course. So I'm going to go ahead and browse all devices, drag out the ASA to the topology, and I'm going to go ahead and click on Start to start it up. Now, I also noticed that the very first time that you start up an ASA in the topology, it's got to initialize the flash and get everything going, and it may take several minutes the first time for it to fully come up. But after it's initially booted and we have the activation key applied, the actual boot of the ASA is a lot more manageable and shouldn't take quite as long. So let's open up a console to this ASA. We'll right click, go to console, and we'll just give this a moment to boot. Alright, so this bad boy is booted up. If we go into privilege mode by typing enable, there's no password by default to get into privilege mode. We can see the feature set that's currently enabled by doing a show version. So we'll type in show version, press enter. So as part of the output, it has license features for this platform. And we can see here that we've got several features that are disabled, including encryption services and failover. And if we scroll down a little bit further in this output, here it has the serial number. Now this is a fairly generic serial number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, AB, which is how you count to 11 in hexadecimal. And currently the activation key is a bunch of zeros. So if we had an activation key we wanted to apply it, that could unlock additional features. And again, the activation key that can be applied is linked directly to this serial number, this firmware serial number on the ASA. So in a production environment with a physical ASA, what we would do is we would get the activation key from Cisco by supplying our serial number, purchasing a license, and then applying it. So once we get the activation key back from Cisco, the way we would apply it is we go into configuration mode. And in configuration mode, we simply type in the command activation key space and then the activation key that they supplied us. And what I noticed, and I did a quick search here, is that if somebody searched for serial number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, AB, Cisco space ASA or something similar to that, there are lots and lots and lots and lots of posts of individuals who have posted what their activation key is based on that serial number. And guess what? I tried a few of them and they all seem to work. Now, not all of them have the exact same features that they're unlocking, but that's perfectly okay. And at the CCNA level, we don't need a whole boatload of features. We would want, for example, cryptography services, like if we want to practice with VPNs and site-to-site tunnels and so forth, we'd want to be able to create and use IPsec and have SSL support and basic functionality of the ASA. But again, a lot of the advanced features that these activation keys may unlock, we really don't have too much of a need here together at the CCNA Security level. So going back to the command prompt, if we wanted to apply the activation key that they sent us, we'd use the command activation key, space, and then the activation key that we had. So for example, if we had an activation key of this, and I just pasted it in, this little dollar symbol means there's more characters over to the left, and then we pressed enter, it would go ahead and work on that activation key. Now, depending on the activation key that you put in, it may take a few minutes to chew on it and think about it. Here I've got a message saying failed to retrieve permanent activation key, but it's still working on it. It's not done yet. So through editing, I'm going to save us the minute or so that it's going to sit here while it thinks about that, and then we'll resume once it comes back. All right, so now it's come back and it says, do you want to proceed with the flash activation key? And we're going to press enter, which will allow us to confirm that yes, we do. So we're going to press enter. And it says it'll be active the next time that we reboot. So I'm going to type in WR just to save any changes that I might have made along the way. Then I'm going to go back to GNS3. In GNS3, I'm going to right click. I'm going to stop this bad boy. Then I'm going to right click on ASA1 again. I'm going to start him up. And then as he boots up, he should be coming back and processing and using the new activation key that we just applied. So it's been about a minute since it's booted up, and now it's processing the activation key with the message that it may take a few minutes, which indeed it will. And now that it's booted up, let's go into privilege mode. With enable, press enter a couple times. There's no password yet. And let's do a show version. So among other things, the show version is going to show us the features that are currently available on this platform now. Notice that failover and encryption are now enabled. And some of the other features are enabled as well, and some of the numbers have gone up as well. So that's how an activation key can unlock or enable certain features on the ASA. And if we scroll down a little bit further in the output of this show version command, it shows us what the activation key is that we're currently running that's associated with this serial number. So in a production system where your serial number is very unique, you have to use your activation key that was set up and configured specifically for your serial number. And the process for implementing an activation key I've also included in this document called Basic ASA Lab Bootstrap Commands.txt. And this document at the bottom of it details the steps that we just did regarding how to apply an activation key to an ASA. And this file is included as part of the Nugget Lab files you can download from cbtnuggets.com. We're going to build this topology together. We're going to do it in GNS3 as a lab environment that we can practice and play in. Now, if you have a physical rack of gear or other options, that is absolutely great. I wanted to make sure, though, that you and I have options, including the ability to set up and practice with an ASA in an environment. And GNS3, for me anyway, is one of the most convenient ways of doing that. So we're going to build this topology. We're going to add some Cisco IOS routers. We're going to plug in an ASA here in the middle. We can set up some virtual PCs with the VPCS software that came as part of GNS3. And we're also going to use some generic switches. So switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, and switch 4 are just the generic switches that come with GNS3. And we can just think of them as glue. And I like using switches instead of direct connections because it gives us more options. We can add additional connections to that switch if we need to. Now, in my home network, I've got a 192.168.1.0 network, and that network actually has on it a default gateway of .1, which is then connected to the internet. So that device at .1 on the 192.168.1 subnet is doing PAT, port address translation, that allows computers to go ahead and go out. So in GNS3, if we create a cloud in GNS3 and we bind that cloud to the network adapter on the Windows 8.1 host that's running the whole GNS3 environment, we can connect through that interface on the GNS3 host computer. We can connect this GNS3 topology out to the internet. So let's go ahead and build this topology in GNS3. So here in GNS3, let me just confirm the version for a moment about GNS3 1.3.11. That's great. Let's go ahead and build a topology. Let's start off by going to all of our devices we have available. Here's an ASA. We'll drag it out. We had a previous nugget on integrating an ASA with GNS3. If you haven't seen that yet, you might want to take a moment to make sure you can get the ASA in your topology. And we're going to bring out some generic Ethernet switches. So we'll grab switch number 1 here, switch number 2 here, switch number 3, and switch number 4. And again, that's just for flexibility. Now, I don't see any routers on here, and that's because on this system I haven't identified any iOS images yet. So I'm going to go ahead and correct that. We'll go to Edit, we'll go to Preferences, we'll go to iOS Routers, and I'll click on New. I'll go ahead and browse for an iOS image that I want to use. And if I recall correctly, I've got a Downloads folder. And in this Downloads folder, I've got that ASA 9 iOS 15-GNS3 Rev D folder. And that's what we used for the ASA images, but I also have a 3700 image here and a 7200. I'm going to take the 7200, grab it, and click on Open. It's asking me if I'd like to copy that. I'm going to say no. I'm just going to let it sit in that Downloads folder and click on Next. I'm going to go ahead and take the default name of C7200 and the platform C7200 and click on Next. 512 megabytes of RAM is fine. Click on Next. And I'm going to customize the interfaces just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and put another Ethernet port in slot 1. And that way, every new router we bring out to the topology will already have the interfaces that are specified here. So that'll be enough for our lab. And we'll click on Next. And it wants to know the idle PC. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find that out in just a moment. I'm going to click on Finish and click on OK. So now I'll click on the router icon. We have a 7200. I'll bring one out, and that'll be our good buddy, Mr. R1. Now, in troubleshooting GNS3, if there is a problem where it can't connect to a router or the router won't initialize correctly, I want you to take a strong look at what firewalls and or antivirus software that you currently have running. So in the event of testing, you may want to try turning off one or more of your software firewalls just temporarily for the benefit of seeing if that's the problem. I had that problem. And it took me about 20 minutes to realize that I had some firewall software that wasn't allowing the connections between GNS3 and this iOS image that's trying to run in GNS3. And if you want to see the messages that come up, you can go to View, and then go to Docs, and then select Console. So here's the console right here, and if there's error messages, it's very likely those error messages are going to pop up, maybe in red, on that console to let you know that something is wrong. So I'm going to click on my devices here, and let's go to a cloud. We'll bring out a cloud that'll represent the internet. We can right-click on that cloud, select Configure, and then select the cloud. And on this computer, from the drop-down here, I can select my various network adapters. Now I've got VMware Workstation running on that computer. If you didn't have VMware Workstation running on the computer, it's very likely that you would see, for example, your Ethernet adapter. And then by selecting that Ethernet adapter, that's representing a bridged connection to that network. In the case of this computer, VMnet 0-external bridged represents the network adapter that's connected to the 192.168.1 network. It's a bridged connection. So with that selected, I'm going to click on Add. And now the cloud, I'll click on OK here. Now that cloud represents, the connection for that cloud represents that network interface card, or at least a bridged connection through that network interface card to that 192.168.1 network. And again, on that 192.168.1 network, I've got another default gateway at .1 that actually is doing the PAT and routing out to the real internet. So if we wanted to bring out a virtual PC using the virtual PC simulator, we could do that. And let's connect these guys all up. We'll click on the Connect tool. Again, if you're new to GNS3 or want to brush up on it, the GNS3 1.x Fundamentals is a great view. And that will assist you in getting up to speed very, very quickly with GNS3. So with the connector tool selected, let's go ahead and go from PC1 over to Switch 1, and from Switch 1 over to Router 1. And dang, why am I saying dang is because my topology that I've already had drawn out and I'm going to use for this course is using interface 00 and 01. And I need to modify the hardware on R1 just for a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and hit escape. I'm not going to make that connection. And let me go edit R1 real quick. So we'll go to Configure, R1, we'll go to Slots, and I'm going to change this guy to a 2-port fast Ethernet. Now I'll have 01 and 00, and I'll click on OK. And with that change made, now I can go back to the connector tool right here, and we'll go from switch 1, port 2, over to R1, FA0/1, which is our plan. And then go from R1's FA00 over to switch 2. And again, that's only a preference because I already have the drawing with those interfaces numbered that way. And if we want to see those labels, you can click on the label tool here, and it will simply show us those labels for us. From switch 2, we'll go ahead and connect over to the ASA. And on the ASA, we're going to use gigabit 1. Again, here they're labeled E1, but we could change that. We'll do that here in a moment. And going up to switch 3, we're going to go off of Ethernet 2, which goes to switch 3. And we're going to use Ethernet 0 to go out to switch 4. And for the purpose of working with the ASA, let's not put in router 2 yet. Let's just go ahead and connect switch number 4 to the cloud. So the cloud, again, is representing a bridge network adapter on the host that's running GNS3 that goes to the 192.168.1 subnet. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my connector tool by clicking this once more. And then let's clean up these labels. So E0 from the virtual PC, FA0/1 is great, FA00. And I'm going to just double click on E1. I'm going to call it Gig1 and move that over just a little bit so we can see that. And E2, I'm going to call it Gig2 and move that up a little bit over here. And then on E0, that's going to be Gig0. And again, just labeling it doesn't make it a gigabit interface. It was a gigabit interface in the emulation to begin with. And let's go ahead and power these on. Now, a couple of just heads up. Because I just added R1 and I just added the iOS image for it, I haven't found an idle PC yet for it to make sure it's not going to consume all of my CPU. So just for the sake of sanity purposes, I'm going to right click on R1. I'm going to go ahead and start it by using start from the drop down. And now it's starting to run. I'm also going to bring up Task Manager to go ahead and just keep my eye on the CPU for a moment while I run idle PC. So currently it's only like 13%. Not a big deal, but in your environment, worst case scenario, that CPU is going to go spiking really, really high until you run the idle PC. And the idle PC process is something important on your iOS routers in GNS3 that we want to run. So we can have a functioning, working computer and not a computer that's 100% that's the sound it makes when all the resources are used of the CPU. So with R1 running, I'll right click and we'll go to console to bring up a console. We're going to want to make sure it's sitting at a prompt, not waiting for something to happen. So we've pressed enter a few times, it's responding fine. And then what we can do is we can go back to R1, right click. From the drop down, we can select idle PC. Now from the drop down list, it's showing us that a potentially better idle PC value is marked with an asterisk. I only see one in my current drop down, and we'll click on apply. So somebody else's idle PC is not going to be the right idle PC for you and for your computer. It's kind of like an individual computer by computer basis thing. So with that selected, I'm going to click on OK. I'm going to go back to Task Manager for a moment, take a look at my performance, and I'm still about 14% for that iOS router. And we could tweak that and play with that, try to get a better and better idle PC. But on this system, for me, that's perfectly fine. Now, if we want to start the ASA as well, we'll right-click on the ASA, click on Start. And one of the key mistakes that some people make is they start everything. So the ASA is running, the iOS is running, and they're not sure exactly which one is hogging all the CPU. So right here, it's about neck and neck. We've got QEMU and Dynamits both taking somewhere around 13 or 14%, which is, you know what, pretty darn good. I'd also want to bring a console up to the ASA. We'll right-click, select console, just to make sure that it is really booting and not just sitting there. And to me, it looks like it's just sitting there. How patient should I be? I'm going to go ahead and stop it and restart it. Right-click, stop, right-click, start. I've got the console running. I'll bring that back up. Here's the ASA. And there it goes. All right. So I just want to make sure that it's really running and not just sitting there. The other thing we'd want to do is we would want to absolutely save our project. So I'm going to go to the router. Even though I haven't made big changes here, I'm going to do a WR. And I get a little message saying, hey, you're trying to save this config that was previously saved with a different version. I'm going to say, that's fine with me. I'm going to go ahead and save it. And then we'll go to the ASA and we'll do the same thing once it finishes booting up. So it's asking me if I want to use the interactive prompts. I'm going to say no. I'm going to do a enable, press enter. There's no password by default on the ASA. And we'll do a WR here as well to save the running config to the startup config. And then we'll go to the project in GNS3 and we'll click on save. It says, please stop the following nodes before saving the topology to a new location. So I'm going to do show details. Okay, great. It's got the two I've got running. So I'll click on OK there. I'll click on stop to stop everything. Then I'll go ahead and click on save. And I'm going to call this CCNA Security Initial Topology. Click on save. And then, my friend, this will be the topology that you and I can use as we begin to discuss and practice and get really good at working with the ASA. So in this nugget, we've built a basic topology in GNS3. We use the virtual PC simulator for a PC sitting here. We put in switch 1, 2, 3, and 4 in place. We bypassed R2 at the moment. We connected switch 4 directly to this cloud inside my home environment of 192.168.1, which has connectivity through its default gateway out to the public internet. We also placed router 1 and the ASA in position with the correct connections. And now you and I can use this as a framework as we discuss and implement the various techniques on an ASA firewall. Hey, thanks for joining me in this nugget. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.